Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Miss Mo, and welcome back to Happy Hour with HR, a podcast about navigating corporate spaces without compromising your wellness. I'm your host, as I said before, Miss Mo or Dr. Mo, whatever you want to call me, as long as you just call me, okay? Anywho, in this episode or in this video, I'm going to be talking about a big realization that I think everybody needs to really sit with if you are not sitting with it already. Now, there are some people that go in the job, they all about their money, and like it is what it is, whatever. And they let management know up front, like they're good at their job, but they're about their money. But there are other people that go into the job in which they believe in the company. And I was one of those people. And it's not a bad thing to believe in a company, but it's just you are romanticizing an entity that you don't know. And like we might see this, because I like to compare career and romantic relationships a lot. We like to see this with like romantic relationships. We might see somebody that's really fine. You know, he looked good. He looked really good. And then you talk to him and you're like, oh, you a thief, you know? And I feel like that's the kind of same vibe that some companies might have. Like, on the outside, they look good. Like, they have a good mission statement. They got a good, like, you know, everything about them just seems like, yes, I made it. I got it. I got a good one. Until you go on a date with them, and in this scenario, the date is working for them, and you realize that, oh, it's a little ghetto over here, and oh, that manager don't know what he's talking about, and that other manager don't know what he's doing, and now I see why those other employees be stealing from the company. Like, you just see kind of like little effed up shit like that. And so again, I'm saying all this to say that, like, the biggest thing that I realized about working for these different companies, and since 2018, I wrote it down, I have had, now because of this new job, I have had 24 different employers. And that's a lot of different spaces to be in. That's a lot of personalities to deal with. That's a lot of information, different types of information to retain. And as I sit, you know, with this 24th employer, I'm telling myself, like, girl, aren't you tired? Like, aren't you tired of, like, job hopping? Aren't you tired of, like, trying to believe in the company, trying to think that they're going to be good, like, have ethics, morals, I don't know, good processes, and even if it's not good, willing to work with the team to make it better? Like, aren't you tired of, like, looking at a company's potential? Like, because it not only stresses you out, but like, you worn out, girl. You worn out. And this is a conversation I'm having with myself, because I'm tired. I'm tired of going to these different companies and expecting people about their shit, only to see, and I've talked about this in other videos, only to see that people approach work as like another social, like, have fun type of environment. Like, I don't get down like that. Like, when I go to work, I work. When I'm going out to play, I play. But work and play for me don't work. Like, that's just not how I get down. And so when you have a mix of people that just want to get their job done, get out, versus people who want to gossip, they want to hang out, they want to do all this other stuff besides doing their work, it creates a very annoying and unfortunately a chaotic work environment, because you might have to pick up the work that they're not doing. You know, it's a whole big thing. And like, I'm just telling myself, like, aren't you tired? And then the biggest reason why I even ask myself that too is because at this now a former employer, I didn't feel safe at work. And I'm asking myself, like, girl, Miss Mo, how many companies do you have to work at to realize that these people don't care about your safety? They don't care about what happens to you. They care about how much they got to pay. They care about liabilities. And by caring about liabilities, you might get the runoff of that care. But they don't care about what happens to you. Like, management don't care about your safety. When are you going to, catch up with your reality of, like, these people don't fuck with you? And well, you know what? I'm not even gonna say that. It's not that they don't fuck with you. It's that they don't care what happens to you, because their thing is that we need to replace you because we have to get this job done. And like I said before, understanding business now, I get it. You gotta get a job done, and you need a certain type of person there with certain type of skill set, certain type of experiences to get the job done. But when you are coming into an employer and you really want to give it your all, and you really want to do your best, and you really like what they stand for, and you just kind of like really have this romanticized version of what this employer is, only to realize that, girl, they will put you in the most dangerous situation and say, good luck. Like, for example, at this past restaurant I worked at, they would have us removing the hoods from the restaurant, like in the kitchen area. And if y'all are not familiar, in the kitchen, you have hoods, when you cook in, smoke, blah, 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 blah. So you need to get that clean, because it may not be working properly if it's like clogged up with smoke, grime, all this other stuff. They would have us up there removing those hoods. Now, it may not seem like a lot, but when you get on the step ladder in your mid-30s and you realizing, hey, I'm not as flexible as I once was. I don't be doing my stretches as I need, so I don't want to get hurt. Things like that be running through your mind. I'm like, and then my dumb ass, I would do it because I'm like, I want to be a team player. But then when I look at it, I'm like, that's dangerous. And I was scared. I was going to fall. I'm like, Lord, I don't got time to be going to no doctor, no hospital. Not today. But yes, it's just a realization of, like, they don't care about you. And I'm tired of compromising my safety for $1. Like, if I'm going to compromise my safety for $1, at least let it be for something that's like, something that I'm like head over heels. Like, I just really, really love the work that I'm doing. But if I'm not like in love with the work that I'm doing, why am I compromising my safety? That's like, again, doing a comparison between relationships. That's like hanging out with you, a suburban girl, hanging out with a hood ass dude, and you chilling in his car. He all cute, he fine, he got money, he doing all this. And then gunshots go. You hear gunshots, and you find yourself bent down in the car because you like, oh my goodness, my safety is compromised. And you look to your side, and you like, is this fine dude really worth it? No, it's not. You get to an age, you get to a stage in your life where it's like, no, I want to be safe. Why is that weird? Why is that crazy for me to want to be safe? Okay. And so I'm just saying all this to say that, like, this is the biggest thing that I realize is that, Miss Mo, girl, you can keep going to these different employers. You can keep having high hopes. They're gonna put you in a situation in which your safety is gonna be compromised. And then they're gonna hit you with, did you follow the proper channels? Like at this last job, there was you know what? If y'all are interested in what happened at that last job, just let me know. But let me finish this video because I don't want it to be too long, okay? But once I realized that safety is almost impossible in corporate spaces, it made me realize certain things. I'll just say that. The first thing it made me realize is this: wellness should always be one's centralized focus. Because if these people don't care about you, you at the bare minimum need to care about you. You have to care about what is going on with you, the time you need, the space you need to heal, to do your work, to do whatever. You really need to care about you. And that should never be compromised. The second thing I realized is this: entrepreneurship is not optional anymore. I was treating starting a business and like that form of entrepreneurship, I was treating that as, I guess that's the only form. Hey. But like really working for myself, I was treating that as an optional thing. But what I'm realizing again is that it's no longer optional. I have to work for myself because I only feel safe around myself. And if I've done a thorough search for somebody and energy, vibes in which these are like good people to be around. But when I'm throwing myself into these corporate spaces, into environments in which the person who probably hired them didn't really understand how to hire somebody. So I'm like throwing myself into like this petri dish of like fucking wild cards. And I don't want to take that risk anymore. That's too much of a risky thing because it not only messes with my sanity, it messes with my money. Okay? And so I don't want to take that risk anymore. I don't want to risk my sanity or my money for a fucked up employer. So it's like, you know what? Entrepreneurship is not optional. And I think it's important for me to say that out loud for people to hear, but also for myself. Because when you see entrepreneurship as optional, when you see running your own business as optional, the way you go about making your money, you treat it as optional. You don't got that dog in you to go and get that dollar. And I've experienced it. I've seen people who act like that. When they fall on their 9 to 5 or they fall on that W-2 status, but they doing like W-9 contract work on the side, they don't have that dog in them like one should have if you want your W-9, your particular business, if you want that particular business to succeed. Because in their mind, it's like, well, I'm getting a steady paycheck from this W-2. And they ain't about to fault you because I'm doing the same thing. But when I realize again now that, girl, your safety is always going to be compromised, I can't treat entrepreneurship as optional anymore. I gotta get that dog in me to get a consistently high dollar. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Okay. The third thing that I realized is that insecure leadership causes confusion. When you don't know who the fuck is in charge, you will be lost in that company. And leadership, this is for you now. Clearly state who is in charge. Don't try to be like, and I made this video before, but stop trying to be friends with everybody. Because when you try to be friends with everybody, you're not really clearly stating who really is in charge. Because you're trying to be cool. And like it's a very rare few people that like you could be cool with them, but you know that they got the final say. But in sometimes in companies, like, you don't know who has the final say. Like, I worked at a nonprofit in which the board member was supposedly retired. They started the nonprofit, but once they found a executive director, they supposedly retired. Man, this lady, oh my bad, but she was just kind of like running this executive director around like a rag doll, okay? And I'm like, Are you not the executive director now? Is she not retired now? I understand that she has put time, effort, money, sweat, tears into this business. I understand that, okay? But you've made a decision to relinquish your power, okay, to this executive director. So let him executive. Let him direct. But it caused confusion within the company. And again, at this last job, and with insecure leadership, oh my goodness. And I'm speaking from somebody who has been bullied. I'm speaking from somebody that has their own insecurities. So I know that it can be frightening to sit in your power. I do. But I feel like you also have to do a mind switch of like, these people are depending on me to do a good job. I don't have time to sit in my insecurities right now of whether or not I can do the job. I just show up. I need to be willing to show up and learn and show them that, like, I am there for them, but that I can do this. I was not getting doubts from this past employer now, and it caused so much confusion. I was like, what you mean that's not the executive chef? Like, what is the pecking order up in this beach? Okay. So, and then I will say this, piggybacking off of that, insecure leadership, if you ever have to question what insecure leadership looks like, again, insecure leadership to me looks like you try and be friends with everybody. Don't even do that. But the second thing that it looks like to me is you care more about the optics of the job versus being a good team player and doing the job correctly. Like, you care more about how, like, for example, you might care more about your title than what that title actually really means. You know, and what that actually means, and what it requires you to be for the team. Like, you just care, you don't want things to look bad. But yet, for example, you don't want things to look bad when corporate is there. But when corporate leaves, then everything just be looking how it's looking, and it'll be looking a little ghetto. And I mean ghetto in a bad way. Like, not creativity ghetto. I mean ghetto in why we ain't buy new things. Like, we got the money for it. Anyway. So that's the third thing. And I think the fourth thing that I realized about understanding that safety in corporate spaces is damn near impossible. The fourth thing that I realized is this: people only care about what benefits them. It's not a bad thing. It's one of those, and I've learned from it. It is what it is. Okay, like, I'm not gonna fault you for thinking about yourself. Like, hello. When it becomes a problem, is when you are being malicious to other people and like a fuckhead. Okay, in better words, like, I ain't no other words, but like, when you are just being like rude and malicious, that's when it become like a big problem to me. But if you just like this thing don't concern me, therefore I'm not going to involve myself in it. I've grown to be like, okay, I understand that. It is what it is, and it has made me think better of like, okay, how can I make this of concern to you? Because the more, the merrier, the more effective. Okay. So again, it just has helped me engage in different strategies, because there can be a real serious problem. You can see a very big liability down the line, but if you are the only one saying something, people are not going to necessarily listen to that. So if you can get more people to understand why it is a liability, why it is a big problem, and how it can impact them, and okay, now you are building up a stronger argument. So, it is what it is. But just to wrap it up, because this video is getting kind of long, just to wrap it up, 4 things that I have realized, from, okay, let me do that again. All right. 4 things that I have realized when it comes to understanding that safety in corporate spaces is damn near impossible is this. 1, wellness should always be the central focus of every employee. Don't depend on your company for your wellness. You depend on your own wellness, because you define what well looks like to you. 2, entrepreneurship is no longer optional. Okay. 3, insecure leadership causes confusion. And 4, people only care about what benefits them. So, y'all, that is it for me. Thank you all for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it in the description box. Bye.